succubus or an incubus to you, and anything attached to you, anything connected to you, because they know that's where abundance flows. Where the empress and emperor goes, that's where abundance flows. Where your attention goes, that's where energy flows. And the empress and emperor energy, that's where abundance flows. Now, people who can't manifest anything really for themselves without attaching themselves to somebody else, right? I mean, and that's like kind of like, I call an attachment, like, you both kind of don't really want to be there or don't want to be there at all, but it's codependent. You need that person. And a lot of us collective have had people who need us around. They would never admit it, but and because they can't stand us, and they probably never admit that from anybody they like either, unless it was like for an ulterior motive to try to pump their head up to get them to do something that would not be in their greatest and highest good. Because why would you need to do that? I say this about a job: if it's worth having and it's such a great job, you don't need to sell it. And that's just it. That would be a passion. And, if it's something you're passionate about too, and it comes in the form of a job, maybe it's not the place that you should fulfill your passions in. Because anything you're passionate about and it feels like a job, you eventually lose your fire for it, your zest for it, and you have to backpedal off of it. You have to find another route, or let that flame for it die altogether. So yeah, I've just been really just kind of even killed. My energy's good. I got a lot on my mind, but my energy is just centered. It's just it's a weird thing, because I can feel the projections, but I know it's not my energy. And I'm just just steady cutting off BS people, cutting core cutting. And there's a lot of people through these karmics who were in my life that were attached, because they set up and basically teamed up as many people as they could possibly encounter to come against me. And then I went quiet on them and let them feed off their own energy, and now they're trying to project that to me in some weird way that isn't working. I'm just like, that's not my energy. That's all. You keep that, and it's just and then the whole bit, the feelings of with the blessings, right? It's just oh, maybe I'm not ready, or imposter syndrome, that type of stuff. The doubt is just what if what if they don't this and that? But I'm like, what's for you won't miss you, right? So and that's how I've always lived my life. That's how I've always been. Even kill temper, I can't say the last time I lost my temper, because I never truly lost my temper. It's always been all right, cool. I've been in a couple fights, or if you could call them that, and but it was not even cold and calculated. It's more what? It's just it's only, at the time when I was younger, I was it's only fair that this happens to you, right? I was just some things I would get in my feelings about, but I wouldn't call it a temper. It's just oh no, it's just kind of some unspoken code, certain things you don't do to a person or whatever, or certain things and it warranted a fight. It was a hood programming, basically, because I came from the hood, and I don't look, and I'm not anything where I came from, I'm not for the streets, but I'm for the streets. I'm for the people of the streets. The streets don't love anybody. If these people are out here running the streets and stuff like that, I learned, the streets ain't, I knew inherently, but it's just okay, maybe this is a lesson I needed to learn the hard way, looking back at it, because none of that shit had to happen, right? But I completely own that. I could have walked away from it at any time, in which case I did after I got tired of it. Just what, this really isn't me. It was kind of I went through phases of, let me put myself in a situation, or let me put myself here, not in a situation, right? But let me experience this to get the experience, because this is my, my life is, I work for experience. I don't, and do things for experience. I don't do it for for materials, even though I know that's going to come, sooner or later. Eventually it's going to get here. So that's why I journey that's in front of the material, right? Or behind, wherever you want to place it on your timeline, but the journey that led up to you getting that prosperity. And, that could be good or bad depending on the contingency of your frequency, right? The variables, all the different variables that kept you afloat. And if it was another person, I guarantee you you're not reaching that land of milk and honey. I'm telling you, you're trying to constantly attach yourself. You might get it early, but even still, it's not the land of milk and honey, because guess what? You've attached yourself to something you have to keep referring back to. And if it's a person you don't like, your ass will just be miserable. You'll just be miserable, like still trying to and constantly trying to find ways to attach to that person trying to escape you. That's a miserable cycle. And then in competition, another miserable cycle is something that, like me, I personally I'm not about to compete for shit. I'll do things for sport, like I'll get in some matches, spar or whatever, which I've been out the game for a minute, but I haven't lost much. It's just it's a matter of time and getting my ass back in the program. But right now, it was busy season, and now it's slowed down some, and it might still be some residual in January, but time will tell. But I got all these different portals that just opened up around me that I could walk through, and the Most High is there's no matter where you go, you can't really go wrong. And that's a wild thing to have placed in front of you. So it's on some Iron Man tab, a computerized system type thing where I have only so many devices that I can figure all this out, because I got a lot of interest and curiosities and new things I want to learn on top of what I already know from my journey and what I already learned. Because it's for most of the stuff I know, you think I have a formal education. I don't. I have an associate's in computer science. That is all I have. And in computer science, an associate just simply, especially when I first got it, it just wasn't enough. It's not enough to even be competitive. But it's just it is what it is. So I switched fields and I got into insurance for a few years, 8 years, something like that. Went through a few different insurance companies and started working on cars, facilities managers, mechanical lab engineer, field service technician, solar technician, auto mechanic technician, so many different occupations. And I've learned so much in my life that it's just I don't trip about anything except for maybe if I have to buy parts for something. And not even then, because it's just I know how to fix things. I know how to do a whole lot for myself. It's just a matter of the way the middleman is. The middleman has placed himself in the middle of being able to be completely self-sufficient. That's what they are literally there for. They're not really there to help us in the long run. They're not here to help us get better. They act like it, and they put things up to shut us up temporarily. But their energy, their frequency is contingent upon us needing them. And that's just all. It's plain and simple. Plain simple. That's what it's consistent upon them needing. Just if your business is running, of course it's going to be contingent upon who has a need for your services and everything like that. But there's a lot of shit that we don't need between I'm gonna go ahead and say it, a church. We don't need a church to connect us to the Most High. Our connection with the Most High is direct. If you have a personal relationship with the Most High, that's what it's about. You don't need somebody else to help you. Once you have that connection, you build it and you work on it. Now you can have somebody show you how to get that connection with the Most High. It's not, for me it was never hard, because I never really disconnected. I was out there, pissing off the Most High, making them hey, try kind of forcing the hand. And, I did what I did. And, I don't have regrets really, because it's just it got me this far. It got me this mindset, and, all these different experiences that shape my mindset, right? And, unfortunately, I've always had somebody my whole life trying to attach themselves to me. My father, who was a Taurus, my mother, who was a Virgo, they were always trying to stay attached to me along with the rest of the family. And, it's just a very codependent energy from where I came from. So it's not just where I came from, but who I came from. And, I just had to come to the realization they are who they are. that, if you could call it that. I think I was right on time. And I had a lot of trauma in my life, man. I left home at 15. And then I went in and moved with my grandmother, who was sick when I got there. So I'm like taking care of her. And I told the backstory on that already. It got to a point where it's just like, I'm not going to sit here and watch you kill yourself over these people. Because it's like like I went to her house and my dad was a tormentor. If he's still alive, and I mentioned before, I believe he actually faked his death. Him and, but I could be wrong. Or my sister helped him. Or somebody had an involvement in his death and my grandmother's. I don't think those were natural, like they just went out like that. But that's besides the point. I think places that need to be audited are funeral homes, like real shit. Like they just, and I hate to say it like that, get them fumigated and everything like that. And a lot of nurses need to be like personally audited and tested psychologically, because they got some nurse ratchets out here that are taking people out to this day. And it is what it is. I'm okay with it coming to me. Just like, because people gonna talk, people are gonna have their opinions, even though they could click off the channel. I mean, they would think it's common sense to be like, oh, people are gonna talk, then blah blah, and then then it's just like a sight, more me ignoring what they said, and because they can't come to me like a normal person and have a conversation. Just like, okay, well, problem solved. You're not talking. We're not sitting down or standing together having an intelligent conversation like adults. Instead, you're just blurting things out like you have Tourette's or some shit. And there's really you didn't say anything. So until the courts were involved, then you said a lot, right? But it's just, it's like just cycle after cycle, and I'm just like, and I look back at all the adventures and mishaps and stuff I've been on, and it's like, it makes me laugh. And I think when you laugh at it, you feel from it, like, and hurt people try to keep you stuck in a certain mindset in the past. And then some people are doing anything in my life now but repeating cycles, trying to stay attached to bring me back to an old timeline. So when I made a post about staying in the past, stay there. If that's what you're focused on, just stay in the past. And these people are now repeating cycles because they tried to use that against me. So there's that. And I'm like, like working on all these different opportunities and trying to figure it out. I took went ahead and like didn't even bother looking for work, because I'm like, I do need some time off. I need time to work on this stuff. So it's just like I've been taking time off and resting, but I've also been achieving and getting things done. There was a couple things that were thrown at me. I had to like transmute. I'm just like, nah, that's not me though. And the whole thing is like, I had a bunch of accusations going on about me. I'm just like, I've been called a lot of different things and accused of a lot of different things. And it's kind of like, well, shit, the shit you're accusing me of, why am I not being charged for it? Why am I not in prison for it? Da 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 da. And I'm not saying, because innocent people get arrested all the time. I mean, there's been stories on my timeline, innocent man goes to jail for nada, for nothing, basically. And I come from Houston, Texas, where, the allegations and possibility for murder are, well, let me see, not just Texas, South Park. There's some good areas in Texas. It's not the Wild Wild West. It's surprisingly, some people think it is, but yeah, I come from South Park, where it's just like you could be walking down the street, catch a stray, and that'll be that. They wouldn't even care. I don't know how it is now because I haven't been back to the neighborhood, honestly. Really don't know. But that's the cycle they want to be stuck in. They want to be stuck in that cycle where I was like quick to fight, quick to throw hands and whatever, and and they had people scared of me. But it was like, the whole thing is, I'm not about to go back and forth on the internet. I'm going to say what I need to say, get off, and go on about my business. And if you want to have a conversation, you know where to find me, type shit. You know, I mean, plenty of people have made it clear that they know where I'm at any given time, I guess, right? So, try this place. That's the whole thing. Is like, I'm not, you know, like I said, a discussion can be had, but I'm not about to sit here and argue with anybody. You can argue with a man. You could, you know, you could sit here and watch me walk away and still be arguing, but I'm still walking away. Irregardless. There's nothing that anybody can say that could drag me into an argument when they're yelling or saying things sideways under their breath. Like, really, you know, that's just you, like, stifling your own happiness. Like, you could be happy ignoring somebody or not paying anybody any mind, not responding to a video, not doing anything in regards to another person. Instead, do your self-care and all this other stuff. And if you don't like a video, click off. You ain't like, why are you like, or make your own videos, you know? Like, I won't be looking for that. You know, just like, but somebody will, right? Everybody has a message to deliver in some way, shape, or form. And instead of trying to force your message on people, you can just like make a freaking video and move on with your life. Because my whole thing is like, one thing you're not gonna see is me check it on somebody else's page. You know, if I want to hear something, I'm gonna look for the truth. I'm not gonna be looking for people's opinions. Of course, they try to say that, you know, the collective has a bunch of opinions, which are actually typically, whether we realize it or not, premonitions that eventually come true. You know, and they don't want that out there because they don't want their dirty deeds being exposed. You know, like, I don't have anything to hide. I'm just like, okay, I'm out here, you know, you got questions, ask. Or, you know, like, I already got somebody who's like, you know, or I've already had people who would like broadcast it like the worst possible scenario about me, and it's just like, okay, well, if that's how you feel, then believe that and leave me alone then. You know, like, if that's how you feel, if you really feel so strongly about it, instead of like actually coming to get to know me as a person, then, you know, why would you even have anything to say about it? You didn't even make the effort apart from listening to somebody else, which is actually utterly garbage, but hey. And yeah, but my energy, my frequency isn't contingent on it, as you can see. You know, like, I don't look like any of the shit I've been through. I'm not out here losing my shit screaming. You know, I'm going through some financial hardship, like big time, but like I said, these opportunities have just cut from the clouds, and, you know, it's just like, that's the whole thing. It's about weathering the storms. You know, be it internal, external, it doesn't matter. It's all about weathering the storms, and instead of like peeping into somebody else's life without permission, because I'm out here by myself rolling solo. I haven't had anybody with me like in the past year, honestly, year and a half. And then I was in a situationship for about 5-6 years. So really, I've like dealt with what one to two people in the past like 9 years. You know, apart from my child, who is you know, he's making his own moves now. So, you know, he's making his own plans, and we'll see where that gets him, where that takes him, and everything like that. So, literal sun. Like out here, it's been where I am, it's been like hella foggy, right? And that's been in most of the Bay Area. And these natural disasters, as I said in another video, they're still doing their thing, right? And it's unfortunate because it's like there's people that are still not getting it, and people don't get it until it hits them. Just like it's not about this 3D shit. It's not about like yeah, you do what you need to do to survive here, but it's not about this. So if anything, it's about raising the frequency to make it about your connections to the Most High, and a lot of people are gonna need that, and not too long from now. So, okay. Yeah, it's been raining, and I love the rain. Actually, I do. It's just like I woke up at like 3:33 one morning, and it was just raining. I was just like enjoying it hitting the roof of my trailer, man. I was just like, oh, that's dope. And then I kind of like was in and out of sleep after that because I fell asleep at like 7 and just like passed out from just like working on the projects. And then I got up early, started working on my stuff again after I couldn't go back to sleep, and chimed into the ethers and everything like that, and tarot land. And then I got up and ate, went on about my day, really just did my day-to-day thing. And I've been off, so it's kind of like I'm trying to figure out, what to do with myself, because I've been like pulling doubles and everything during these holidays, which I don't celebrate holidays, but for those of you who do, I'll say it anyway. Happy holidays. Yeah, because I know they're like supposed to be symbolic of things, but it's just like I don't trust anything with the time on it, at this point, because it's like time is a man-made concept, and man, it's just something I don't trust. As far as their systems go and everything like that, it's all misconstrued, it's all jacked up. And losing my voice, all great. Yeah, I've just been listening to good music, or what I consider good music. We ain't all got the same taste, don't judge me. Turn this air down some. And yeah, we don't, it's all different frequency, different contingency. So first off, what level is your frequency on? What keeps you at a high frequency? And what is that contingent upon? What are the variables that keep that frequency up or elevating? Mine is like change, which explains a lot. Because like I said, I'm a curious person. I like to learn. I like to hear different perspectives. But if I know the energy of it is just like bleh, then I don't even, it's not that I can't learn from it, but it's just like I deal with that on my own time. It's just like, okay. And then then that's how I understand the low frequency, the 3D, and I understand, up to the whatever dimension I'm on right now. I don't know, 5D, but some of us are all the way up in the 10th and the beyond dimensions with our understandings. And yeah, unfortunately, there's just people who like these reality TV shows. Is just like, to be able to be popping in reality TV, you have to be on a low frequency, always trying to fight, always trying to take somebody's man. That's the type of shit I've never really been on. Yeah, I've done some deeds, but it's like it was never in the energy, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna steal this. Like, why would that be a brag, a flex? That's not a brag or a flex, or trying to humiliate somebody. It's not my thing, even though I have humiliated people when I popped off. It is what it is. I mean, my whole thing is I ask to be left alone by these people, by whoever. And then they try to drag you into, if you don't respond, you're this and that. I'm just like, you're just not worth it. That's the whole thing right there. You're just not worthy of a response from me. And it's just like they'll say their words, do their words, and spend all that energy only to end up looking crazy at the end. Because my whole thing is, I've never been like truly a social media person, but I went through a storm in my life that kind of pushed me in that direction. It's just like, okay, have to do is walk away, and then like a lot of shit for people just starts getting fucked up. And I'm just like, and I just went back to my natural state. That's all I did. Social media and like all that cussing people out, because yes, I will do that in person too. It don't make a difference to me. But when you do some sneaky shit and stay hidden, it's just like, who I'm talking to, because I know you're watching my page, right? And if you just have that guilty conscience. I don't have to say names. You're just guilty. And I know that there was something I was pulling on in my own energy. I felt it. It was just like, and I couldn't let it go, so I posted it on Facebook. And lo and behold, these are the people that show up guilty as shit. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, they put a face to it. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time now that they're guilty of all the shit that they're actually accusing me of, but they manifested. And I put it on Facebook that these are the people who are in my energy right now, running in my backdrop, trying to mess up my finances and trying to attach themselves to the new places I do in my new endeavors. And I just got the rundown. And I would make these long-ass posts. And, it was some mess in there, but people miss the message looking for the mess. Like, they are literally entertaining demons, thieves, murderers, rapists, molesters, pedos, like abusers, because I've never been any of that. I'm not going to pursue anybody for some negative shit. Like, I'll pursue you for something positive if I can help you, but for negativity, you can just fuck off. Hell, I used to like wait for, like somebody who said they were going to do something, then eventually I stopped waiting because it didn't, and now it's just like, shit, if you can keep up and catch up and keep up, maybe, but probably not even then. So it's just like they keep trying to jump timelines and try to use the past timelines against me, the present. It's like they've tried it all. They've tried it all. And it's just like, aren't you bored? I mean, clearly they're bored, because who has that much time on their hands to, go screwing with somebody who, won't even look at them. It's just like, my whole thing is like, who won't even like talk to them, look at them. I'm just like, that's a sad existence. Those are some miserable ass people. I'm just like, because you haven't come to me with any decent form of communication, any decent conversation. It's just like, and I'm not a small talk type person. I only have so much tolerance for it. I'm not about to do that. Like, if we can't, get to business or get to some deep, like, third, I don't know, like, deep 31st dimensional type shit, then I'm like, I don't really know how to operate outside of that. Yes, I can drop down to a lower frequency, get on a 3D and talk about a bunch of bullshit and talk about, or talk about like celebrities, what's going on with them and stuff like that. Yes, I can, but I can also transmute that into what was happening on a 5D. And that's where I'm at with it. That's below my pay grade, right? Like, I get paid in, spiritually. And that's the whole thing. I get paid physically too, and that's starting to manifest big time. So below, I'm just thinking numbers right now, and the manifestations and the blessings, they don't always come in the form that you think they're going to come into, and that's because, that's the Most High showing off, in front of these, or not even showing off, just blessing you, because he knows the demons are watching it and knows what they have access to on the 3D and what they can attack, right? So, what is it, right of attorney and all this stuff they try to do on a 3D, because a lot of us have legal cases going on about us. We've had our inheritances stolen, homes, stolen and things like that, all kinds of material harvest. But then they're mad because we get blessed right in their face. Like, that's just weird. And we still get blessed. We still get what they were trying to keep from us. That's why they're mad. And they're mad also because our knowledge is in our DNA. You can't get that from a book. Our knowledge literally lies in our DNA. Like this stuff, like I said, is off the top of the dome. That's my DNA. And I was talking about DNA before. It's just like, you do what's in your DNA naturally. I've been like this since I was a child. Like a solitary, elusive creature. It's just like sometimes I'm on the map and sometimes I just straight vanish without any rhyme or reason. It's just like I was guided to, or that's just kind of how it happened. I just like just off, okay? Like I could be off for years and come back with like some some next level stuff. You just don't know, because it's in my DNA. Like I'm obligated to do the Most High work as the Most High guides me to do it, and that's my only obligation. My obligation is not to sit up and cater to people who think I owe them something, because they think they took some part in my manifestations with the Most High that they didn't even know I was manifesting. So, because I didn't speak on it, like I straight up didn't tell anybody what I was working on, and then here they go, trying to, that's the whole collective story. They try to attach themselves to us in any way they can. It's like so desperate. It's so sad that it's just like there's a life to be had. There's like we have the same 24 hours but not the same opportunities. You have your own opportunities, I have my own opportunities, and they just sit here and squander them. And if they do have gifts and they sit here on this low level stuff, this 3D stuff, it's just like they're squandering their gifts, like wasting them. But then again, it's just like, who else is going to be like the Most High's target practice? That's how I see it. It's just like, okay, you're still here fucking around. Okay, well, it is what it is. They're just target practice for the Most High, I guess, or for the collective. It is what it is, moving targets. And like I was saying, our energy, our frequency is not contingent on this 3D shit. It is contingent upon how deep our connection is with the Most High, and they've been trying to detach and sever our connection to the Most High so that we become codependent on them. We look to them, because there are people like, oh, you're gonna need me. Oh, really? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Like only somebody I need is the Most High. Period. That connection. That's what I need. That's what I've always had. That's what even when I was around a bunch of people, I was alone with the Most High. It's like, you gotta think of the feeling you get where, it could be a lonely feeling or it could be a blessed feeling. You say, thank God I'm not them, because it's just like you're surrounded by people who are stuck on a frequency, stuck on a mindset, stuck on a way of living, stuck in the matrix. And that in and of itself is a blessing, because you got that DNA, because your connection was with the Most High. So when you have a connection with the Most High, you are a creator. And the situations we get we are put in is that people need to get over idolization. Like they see you on the internet and then they see you in person. It's just like they start like chomping like zombies. It's idolization. Like you're supposed to praise the creator, not the creation. We are the creation manifested on the 3D. Like these people say, oh, we need something, the world needs change. And then when the collective is in their life, literally manifests right before their eyes, right in front of them, they shit on it. They shit on the blessing because they don't like the package it came in, or they don't like how the package was delivered. Which I get it, because if I got like a package that was full of like glass and it comes to me broken, I would, like, that's probably a terrible example, but a lot of us, some did get broken in the process, but, or like say it's something durable, like a cell phone, but it's covered in a lot of wrapping. But because they don't like that the package had been thrown around and kicked around by a disgruntled driver, right? They just like to completely reject the phone, even though like it's a Nokia, and everybody knows those things are indestructible. It's a Nokia, and like they still reject it. They turn the phone on. It's like, what? I just don't like how the box got kicked around like that, and even though the phone is still usable, and I'm just thinking of something. Then I don't want this because of what the box looks like. It's just like, the packaging is just all wrong. It's got dents in it. Look at the tear right there. There's a shoe print and everything. These are the people that turn down the animals at the animal shelter because they got beat up a little. Maybe they had a recent tiff or something like that. But anyways, that's what they do with their manifestations. It's like because they don't like the packages that came in. Like the collector's like, hey, I can work with that because we have that in our DNA. These karmic DNAs are like, oh no, let's fuck it up. Like, oh, I don't understand what they're talking about. Let's ruin that. Let's try to stamp that out. Let's try to get them to stop talking about it, even though we see it's helping people in their real life situations through their troubles. Let's try to fuck that up because we don't understand it. It's just like right manifestation, wrong people. This is all it is. People who are not ready, who did not do the work. And when they don't do the work, then, that's when when we do the work, right, and we manifest something, we have to learn, and we manifest things that are on our frequency, they're actually at a lower frequency. We have to work on being more specific about our manifestations and what we want out of them. And then when we get on that frequency and learn that manifestation skill, right, because it's like of course you got to work on yourself when you've been like constantly traumatized, and or people have tried to constantly like manifest that in your life, and you aren't sure yet of how to do so, right, on that level or that particular thing. Then it's kind of like you have to learn first and heal then you have to learn how to heal from it, and then you have to learn how to transmute it, and then you have to learn how to manifest better. There's levels to this shit. So I'm just out here, just enjoying the Most High, really. I'm just like gratitude and whatnot, and just floating. That's really what I'm doing. I'm just floating, and it's just like I have a lot of air and water in my chart, so how could I really? It's really hard to stay grounded. I have some earth, but yeah, kind of like in my mermaid right now, kind of like overwhelmed with my feelings for the Most High, and how the Most High just brought me through a lot, and like a then and now comparison of who I am, and competing with who I am to be better than who I was, or who I'm competing or putting my future self in competition with my now self. So with that said, collective, love yourselves, love each other, heal yourself, do the work, your shadow work, and drink plenty of water, mind your business, and think about your future self in everything you do, even though it's easy to forget yourself sometimes when you're selfless. So, and if you don't think about your future self, think about the Most High. Love you guys. Truly appreciate you guys, though. For those of you who are still riding with me, and good or bad, just know me, I'm rooting for you, and if not, the Most High is rooting for you. Take care.